morning, everyone. Today, I want to take a hard look at the leadership failures and systemic overreach that define the global and national response to the COVID-19 pandemic. These weren't just poor decisions. They were outright infringements on individual freedoms driven by a top-down system that prioritized optics over evidence. These policies didn't just affect me professionally. They uprooted lives and shook the foundations of trust in leadership. We were told that masking was critical to stop the spread of COVID-19, but the science didn't back that claim. Disposable masks, widely mandated, were never designed to block viruses, like putting up a chain link fence to keep out bees. Policymakers didn't just ignore this reality, they doubled down, mandating a performative measure to appear in control. This was not about science, it was about compliance. Leaders treated citizens as pawns in a theater of safety. Lockdowns were another catastrophic misstep. Governments arbitrarily decided which businesses were essential, destroying livelihoods with the stroke of a pen. They enforced nonsensical rules like directional arrows in stores without addressing the root causes of transmission. These decisions weren't just misguided, they were authoritarian. They disregarded the voices of small business owners, parents, and communities, while big corporations thrived. Leadership here wasn't about protecting the vulnerable, it was about consolidating control. Perhaps the most egregious example of government overreach was the vaccine mandate. I experienced firsthand. Despite having a medical condition that makes vaccines risky, my employer denied my exemption and terminated me. Why? Because the federal government set a precedent that corporations had to enforce. This was about control, not public health. Let's be clear, vaccines didn't stop transmission. Yet those who questioned the mandates were labeled as conspiracists or worse. And the data now emerging is damning. Excess deaths have increased since the vaccine rollout. Instead of listening to the people, leaders forced compliance, punishing those who dared to dissent. Why did these failures happen? Because the system itself rewards power over accountability. Institutions like the WHO and national governments prioritized control over competence, choosing sweeping mandates instead of evidence-based solutions. Leaders were more interested in silencing dissent than engaging with it. This pandemic revealed that our systems of governance aren't just flawed, they're fundamentally broken. Policymakers operated with impunity, shielding themselves from consequences of their failures, while everyday people bore the brunt of their decisions. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic wasn't just a health crisis. It was a crisis of leadership and freedom. Governments used fear to impose their will, silencing opposition and bulldozing individual rights. This isn't just a lesson in bad policy, it's a warning. If we don't hold leaders accountable, these overreaches will define the next crisis and the one after that. It's up to us to demand better leadership that respects evidence, values freedom, and serves the people.